Yay! Hi, everybody. Susan Bachelder here today, and I'm hanging out with Steve Kellogg. Hey, Steve, how are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm great, Susan. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for
I'm
having
good.
me.
Thank you for coming, actually.
Absolutely.
So, I'm just going to kind of set the stage here. We're doing something completely different today, and it's not directly related to business and marketing, but if you can apply these two techniques, it just might put some power into your business building, personal building, and we all know that if we're a little stronger personally, if our mindset is in place, we can do a lot more business, right?
Absolutely. No doubt. Hey, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to learn. And I'm just going to I got my notepad, got my pen ready to go. And I'm just going to
Awesome.
sit back and learn. So thanks, Susan. Thanks for having me here.
Okay. So for everybody listening, Steve he kind of has an idea of what I'm going to teach today, but he's never done this before. It's completely different, so it's kind of raw. So let's see where we go with it. So I'm going to start with the first one, and it's called grounding. It's a visual technique that can ground your, I don't know, your spirit, your soul, your energy, and it can just really make a difference in a positive situation, and it can make a difference in a negative situation. So it took me a while when I first started using it I had to consciously tell my mind to start doing it and then apply the technique, like kind of think it through. Now it's so natural in my in my subconscious that I do it just instantaneously without even realizing it. So it's just one of those things that you practice and practice, and then it just becomes second nature, almost like breathing.
Great.
Excuse me. So the first thing that I'm going to start so that we get a really good visualization is wood is the best insulator, right? So say for like insulating warmth of a house, wood is the best insulator.
Certainly.
Trees are, if your house is surrounded by a lot of trees, you actually you don't need as much heat to heat your house. Like wood literally is an insulator. So we're going to keep that in mind. And the other thing, connecting that with wood is an insulator and comes from trees, and trees have roots. So just picture the root system of trees and how it goes down into the soil and the earth to get its nutrients. So it gets its nutrients from the ground, water, and everything, and that is what helps it grow.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why the tree can stay standing and stay solid is because of that incredible root system that it has. So it feeds it, and it gives stability, keeps it standing, protects it from wind. So if you picture a big wind coming along, the tree is able to stand or stay standing, even though it wavers because of the wind, but it's able to stay where it is because of that incredible root system. So do you have that kind of really pictured?
Absolutely. And I'm a visual learner, so that was
Okay.
perfect because
Okay.
I love, when you paint the picture and obviously you can. I got these windows in front of me. I'm looking out at trees right now, and
Awesome.
you think of pine trees or the trees that have really not a big root system, and then you got oaks that have these massive ones. So
Right.
I always think of an oak as a strong tree, and a pine tree is kind of a wimpy tree. So anyway, no, that was great. Absolutely.
And where the pine tree gets a little bit more help is it goes wider at the base, and then it
Hmm.
comes up to a point, right?
Sure.
And there's a reason for that. So the pine tree is almost as strong as the oak just because of that shape that it has in the
Gotcha.
triangle. And the
Gotcha.
wind like the wind can push it, but its top isn't as heavy. Whereas an oak tree, it's got some base, but it gets really big out at the top. So that's why it needs the more root system.
Gotcha. Perfect.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
So I literally, because I use this grounding so much with the root system, that when I'm walking, I literally, like, I gather the energy from the trees. Trees are, I don't know, it's like life and strength. And I just fell in love with, I have always liked trees, and I didn't really know why I was attached to them. And I think it's because of, I was going to do this.
And they produce oxygen, so they are life. You know, they are producing an essential ingredient for us to breathe and live. So that's hey, I'm with you so far. Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. The day, the Tree of Life that's in Orlando. The day that I got to see that tree, I think I was literally in heaven. I had to pull myself back down to earth.
Awesome.
That tree is something.
Cool.
Okay, so what you do, and you start doing this by just literally taking yourself. So you can be standing or sitting. Are your feet on the ground, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. So what you do is you picture little roots, and just start really small, and you picture roots literally coming out from your own feet and going into the ground. They can be woody, they can be whatever color you want to apply to it to be able to picture it. But roots literally slowly come out from your very own feet and go into the ground. And if you just want to ground a little bit, you just picture this little spray of roots, and then just hold it and just feel, and almost feel whatever energy comes to you, just accept it. And then it's a real practice thing, that as you practice it more, you'll find everybody has their own kind of personal technique, or how much they need to do it. The first few times that I did it, they were just little roots, but it didn't take very long, and all of a sudden, all these big roots came, and I almost felt like my spine was stronger. Every time the roots went down, it's like all of a sudden, I'm stronger, and you're standing tall. And you can even do that, like just feel your head more aligned with your spine, and just let it be and feel stronger.
And when would be a good time to practice this? When you're stressed out, when you're shaky, when you're not sure of yourself? I mean, when would you want to apply this first principle, Susan? The
first times to apply it would be in instances like that.
Okay.
When either you have a moment where you're in question with something of sureness in your mind, and just set those roots down, or you're in a situation, say, where you're being maybe confronted with some sort of negative emotion from another person, and just try to plant those roots and see if it helps you to address the conversation a little differently, or bring out some confidence in the conversation.
Sure.
Or
the first thing I notice is my feet feel cemented, like stronger, like they feel like they're fastened to the ground, and are just like somebody could come with a sledgehammer and try to kick my feet out from under me, and they would like break the hammer, so it's amazing when you kind of paint it, and then you actually visualize what you're talking about and have the roots come out from your feet into the ground. I just immediately, they felt heavier, they felt secure, and stable. So it's pretty cool. It's powerful. Absolutely.
Yeah. So so you're sitting at, is this where you work, Steve?
Yeah,
where you're
this is my office. Yeah, it sure is.
So you could try it right where you are, and every time you sit down to work, just plant a few roots, and then just carry on with your work, and just see if it makes a difference. So just slowly every day engage it a little bit more.
Okay, absolutely.
And then what I would like you to do, since next Saturday, exactly 7 days from now, right about this time, you're going to be in Chicago in an incredibly energetic, positive, amazing event situation in a really energized room. So if you could every time you think of it or every time you have the energy to do it, just plant those roots down and
Okay.
really let those roots help you absorb all of the words, the energy, and the emotions that are happening in that
Okay.
room and in your
Awesome.
conversations, and just see what it does. And I don't know, maybe if we have time after the event or whatever, we could even do a double check for either
Absolutely.
for ourselves or for the audience to see, okay, so this somebody new learned this new and this is how it affected them.
Perfect. Perfect.
So it's purposeful grounding to protect and strengthen your energy field or your spirit, however you want to picture it. It doesn't. There's different different theories about what it actually protects, but it's you.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
So the second one is just a protector. So the first one, the grounding, is to strengthen and protect.
Okay.
And the second one is just an insulator and protector, which, as I was explaining in our pre-chat, I don't have a name for it yet, but my
All
daughter
right.
described it as the happy bubble. So
Awesome. Awesome.
we'll go with that from now.
I
So
think
just,
she ought to patent that, the happy
yeah,
bubble. Absolutely.
yeah. So you have the bubble wrap in your mind. The bubble wrap that comes with parcels sometimes to protect like something breakable, whether it's china or whatever, from being broken. So you can picture that. And then the other thing you can picture is I have this green blanket. So I'm going to use that for demonstrating.
Okay.
And so what you do is whatever, and with visualization, some people get stuck on trying to visualize exactly what they're being told to visualize, but
Mm.
just allow your mind to visualize whatever comes to it. Like make it natural for you. So some people will say, well, I can't picture a green blanket. No, it doesn't have to be green. It can be orange. It like the color does not matter. It's the process
Hmm.
that we want to learn.
Okay.
So what you do is you picture whatever it is and it's by you and you wrap it around you. So your whole body is wrapped. And it doesn't matter if some people are methodical. So, you know, how if you take, say, a long cylinder, and if you were wrapping it up, you'd start at one end
Hmm.
and wrap like as if, like with a flow. You can do it
Right.
that way.
Okay.
Or you can do it like as if literally you had a blanket or the bubble wrap laid out. You set the piece on it, and then you just wrap it all at once. It's
Okay.
like the process, how you do it, or how whatever is natural does not matter. All that matters is that your whole body is visually wrapped like this. And you knock your earphones out. So once the incident that you would use this in is if you're in a situation where something might invade your positive energy or your happy bubble, your
Gotcha.
happy feeling, like your self-confidence, your conviction in something. Um, you know how we talk about monkey chatter
Oh
sometimes,
yeah.
those
Absolutely.
negative thoughts that come into our mind?
Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
there's a if there's a specific trigger sometimes, or say you're having a conversation with a colleague
Hmm.
and that colleague is feeling negative themselves and they're saying, "Ah, I'm not getting the sales I want, and I'm not getting this, and my leads unsubscribed," and
Hmm.
you realize all of a sudden you're not sitting straight up anymore, and you're kind of like, "Oh, I'm not getting any sales either.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm not getting any leads either." Do you know how that happens?
Oh
Before
yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, before the conversation, you were feeling fine. You were having a great work day. Everything was going fine. You were forging ahead, and all of a sudden, you're worrying. Oh, I got to do something. What am I going to do? And you're lost.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. It's gone.
Susan, let me ask you this. Is there a way for, I mean, I think it's easy for me to take this technique because I'm learning it with you right now and protect myself from having somebody that's dealing with the monkey chatter, kind of transfer it to me. But is there a way that I can essentially offer a blanket to somebody that needs one? You know what I mean? Like without, I mean, is there a technique or something I can offer from hey, so-and-so, why don't you try to picture yourself? I mean, is there, maybe I'm not making the question clear, but, is there a way for you to kind of take this technique and transfer it to someone who's going through a low point, if that makes sense?
Yeah, there is. And
okay.
There's actually a whole separate technique to that. And
Okay.
so that we don't make this too long, I won't go into that one
no problem.
today, but there is a really good one.
Okay.
But one thing that you'll find as you get really used of doing your own, protect your own bubble,
mm-hmm.
what will happen, because you are completely, and I really think that you'll get really good at this.
Oh, yeah.
You'll practice this, and you will love it, because at first you'll get a really little positive response, and it's addicting.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll go, oh, I'm going to do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love this. And then you'll get better at it because you'll believe in it and you'll love the effect that it gives. So you will get so good at it that you'll just do it naturally, and you'll do it all the time. But there's a side effect of doing this.
Okay.
And it can be a really positive side effect. That side effect is because you're protecting your positive bubble and you're not falling into the negative of that conversation. It'll come natural to you to offer in that conversation to possibly turn their thoughts around.
Perfect.
Keep in mind, though, you only own your own thoughts.
Right.
They own theirs. They're responsible for their thoughts, and you're responsible for yours, but you can give them a blanket.
Certainly.
So
perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, because I think
your own thoughts, and they own their own thoughts.
Because I just I think it's natural, at least my old self, before I did a lot of mindset training and personal development that we've been doing the last 8 months. To have a bad day and then get on the phone with a buddy of mine and commiserate, and I realized that I didn't want to be that person, and I realized also that my friends wanted to keep our conversations very short because they just got tired of hearing me just unload my issues all the time. So I realized, I'd had to kind of shift and change that. And so, I just, I definitely want to help somebody who was in a situation like I was to kind of flip the switch from, monkey chatter to, the positive, affirmation, or be strong, that sort of thing. So that's great. That's great. And is it good to visualize? One last question, Susan. I'm sorry, I got me fired up here. Is it good to visualize what's going on and kind of put it into a context? Like, for example, let's say I'm dealing with like we'll just take no sales, for example. I mean, should I take and just visualize myself in my protective blanket or whatever my protective shape, whatever that form is, and then just transfer my lack of sales into, like, I don't know, hail or something, or like something, like make it an object and then visualize it bouncing off of my protective, or am I getting a little out there?
No, you can totally do with that. Like,
and just feel strong inside that protection that nothing is going to invade, myself, by using this technique, if that makes sense. Exactly.
Okay. And cool. I've even had some instances where I just naturally, so there was the negative chatter that was coming at me, and I pictured those words wrapped in, I don't even know what it was. It was clear. It was something. And then it just bounced off me.
Awesome. Awesome.
So
That's what I was looking for. Perfect.
it doesn't invade your space. It goes away, and however you want to picture it to go away, doesn't matter, but it doesn't get in.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
So yeah, so that's
I'm
really it.
filling up notes here. Yeah, this is
And
good stuff.
if you have someone that it might even be a case of if there's someone that is constantly having this kind of negative conversation with you or with somebody else,
Hmm.
they can even go through this exercise.
Certainly.
Or you can even tell them what you're doing. Like it's I don't know, it's just really powerful. I've not yet found somebody that it didn't work at all. I found people that, oh, I should be using that more, or I forgot about it, or whatever the case. But nobody came to me and said, I actually engaged in this and it did not work.
Right. Right.
So
And I think humans naturally are, gravitating toward pleasure and away from pain, and
yeah,
so if you have a situation where, I mean, that's typically what motivates most people is to avoidance of pain or to go towards pleasure, or whatever we equate pleasure to, whether it's making money or living on a beach or whatever it is.
yeah,
So I think that these are great techniques because you can avoid pain and seek, what you're looking for by grounding yourself, and then obviously stay away from the pain principles with getting in your happy bubble.
exactly.
So I think that's very strong stuff. And
Yeah.
great.
Now, just to wrap it up, and actually, in hindsight, I should have done this to begin with, but I'm going to wrap it up with just a little bit of my story. And the reason is because we trust and believe David Wood's advice and techniques and strategies because he tells us where he came from. And he tells us that he's telling us to do that because it took him from point A to point B. And that's why. So I guess stories really do sell a concept. They sell things too and products, but they sell a concept or a philosophy or a strategy. And so I guess I probably should have started that with this, but you'll trust more that this really does work. I think you already do trust that it works, but you'll trust more that it works if you know what it's done for me.
Okay.
So I started this technique in the second year after my car accident. So it was 8 years ago that I was in a car accident. And essentially for the first year, I was in so much muscle spasm that I couldn't stand up straight. And I had a hard time walking. I spent 2 months 1 week that I couldn't walk at all. My legs were not moving, and then I was in a wheelchair, and then I had to walk with a walker, and then cane, just all because of muscle spasm and nerve pain. So what I did first of all, I had acupuncture and all sorts of crazy things to stop the muscle spasm, but to keep it away is I started using these energy techniques. So for example, if I have a heavy casserole dish to put in the oven, that movement of my arms, like just the position that you have to be at the oven to reach out and put something heavy into the oven, it will always shift my neck to the place where it increases my pain a lot.
Wow.
So before I put the dish in the oven, I practice some techniques similar to this. They're different, but I practice them. So it literally allows me step by step to get through the day physically and mentally, and to deal with pain so that I am not on a huge high dose of narcotics.
Wow. That's a powerful story right there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's all creating ownership and channeling your brain power to do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
basically, if I mean, that's what I'm getting from this, or at least,
Yeah.
part of what I'm getting from this. But
It is.
yeah.
So much to the point, I've made quite a few medical trips, and one of them was to India.
Hmm.
There's in the city of Chennai, a world-renowned surgeon that literally rebuilds spine
Mm.
is there. So I
Wow.
got in contact with him, and he thought that he could help me. And so I went there, and it turns out that because my injury is too close to my brainstem, he didn't want to do the
Yeah,
surgery. It's too risky.
I see.
So he wanted to know, though, how I was doing, what I am doing, like how I'm moving and talking and not freaking out on such a low dose of painkillers. And so I told him a little bit, and he didn't have a whole lot of time to hear it all because, of course, he's a busy surgeon.
Hmm.
So it was about a year and a half after I got back from that trip, he phoned me. So a surgeon that fixes people's spines calls
Sure,
me up,
sure. Wow.
and he says, I need something. I need something really big from you. He was like talking really fast and all panicky on the phone. And so in the end, here he has 3 other patients with a similar injury to mine, and they won't get out of bed, and he can't do the surgery, and they were just like, their life is
Miserable.
shambles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please tell me what you do. So I had to spend an hour with him on the phone and explain my techniques of what I did, and he's called me 3 times since then.
Wow. Look at
So
that.
yeah.
And Susan, where did you learn these techniques, or do you want to share that? You may not want to share that. I mean, where did you? I mean, was it books? Was it traveling? Was it seeking out people that specialize in this sort of thing and interviewing them, or I mean,
Yeah.
where? I mean, how did you get to this point? I guess is my question. If you don't mind.
A ton of reading. I'm
Yeah.
addicted to learning. I'm
Sure. Sounds
obsessed
like
with learning. Oh, just
good.
obsessed. So a ton of learning, and I have 3 practitioners, actually 4, in my city that do various techniques, and so I took from what they did and from what they taught me, and so I took it and adapted my own what worked for me.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, this
So
has been awesome. No, I'm very impressed with this information. I thank you for having me. Absolutely. I feel like I owe you $1,000 consulting fee or something.
no,
Anyway, but
thank
no, that's
you,
great.
because
No,
I've never done it on video, and I was how do you do something that needs engagement
mm-hmm.
on video the first time? So you've actually done me a favor
No
by
problem. I'm glad to
coming
do
through
it.
this practice with me, and if anybody's out there, like, maybe we help somebody today.
I think there's absolutely no doubt. I think anybody that comes across this video will get a lot out of this, whether they're struggling with pain or whether they're the happiest person on the planet. I think that they'll probably relate to these techniques and can take some nuggets out of this and definitely apply them. I know I'm going to. I definitely plan on taking this with me to Chicago next week and doing exactly what you said, and working on just grounding myself, and then if anything I need to protect myself with, I'm going to get in my happy bubble and
Mm,
just let things bounce off me. I think that's awesome. So thank you for that.
awesome. I don't mean to sound a little voodoo, but I was obsessed. I needed to get this to you this week. I don't know why. I
I
guess maybe
appreciate it.
you'll tell me why if there was a reason. I had this little message. I gotta get Steve on the hangout. I have to try this. I have to do this. He needs this right now. So
I do. I definitely do. And that's a whole nother hangout and a whole nother day. But no,
okay,
no, there's no voodoo there. That is, you definitely knew that I needed this, and I did, and I definitely did, and I appreciate you being generous and invite me to do this. This has been awesome. So thank you so much.
cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.